Intimidating. This is quite a crowd. Raymond, should I have had a speech?
MuEller Report is what Doc talked about.
Nothing's changed since shoot around. So, anybody?
Steve, did you have a chance to check out the MuEller Report, and if so, do you have any reaction?
Yes.
Joke, Doc talked about it.
Thank you for the question. Should I really answer that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Doc did.
Very political collective.
I noticed that Sarah Sanders got busted for lying. That would never happen to an NBA coach speaking after a game. We would never lie. We will always tell you the truth, I promise you.
After the game.
After the game.
Hey, it's Steve. Steph talked about taking Steph talked about taking the life out of this building right away as early as possible. What would you like to see in the first 5 minutes that kind of indicates your guys are locked in?
The whole point is defensive focus. You know, that's really the key. And for a game and a half, we've been really locked in and good at that end. Game got away from us the other night. Obviously, everybody knows that. So you just have to return to the same mentality, the same defensive focus that helped us win game one and helped us to that big lead. But we got to play the full 48. But the first 5 set a good tone.
Coach, can you talk about, as far as I'm not sure, strength in numbers, how that will apply tonight, and how that has been the launching point for your team?
Well, strength in numbers started 5 years ago, and it just sort of became a mantra for the organization. So it's something that our fans recognize, and I think that our organization relates to. Everybody matters. That's the idea, that everybody's effort, the collective effort matters, and if everybody's dialed in, we can get a lot of work done, a lot of stuff done. And for us, it's an organizational mantra more than a team one. It started out as a team one, but I think it really spread to the organization where I think we really felt like everybody contributed, and how powerful that was. We could feel it on this run we've been on, and I think it inadvertently captured the feeling that the Warrior organization has had over the past few years. But it's I didn't do the Pat Riley thing because I made it up, and I didn't do the patent on it, or what do they call it, the copyright? Repeat. Yeah, I probably should have, but somebody else got that, I guess.
Hey Steve, with the DeMarcus injury, what kind of opportunity do you see Jordan getting minutes in that center rotation?
It all depends, just matchups, what's necessary. It's just really hard to predict. I think right now our rotation will be Bogut starting, Looney, who's playing fantastic, and Draymond also at center when we go small. I think those 3 are the guys who are going to be in the rotation, but Jordan could see some time if the circumstances call for that.
Since Andrew joined the team so late, I mean, where do you see him? We're in the playoffs and we're here, but just as far as understanding his role in this team and what's needed from him now?
Andrew's been a godsend. The reason it was such a great signing for us is not just that he's a hell of a player, a hell of a defensive player, and a great passer, lob catcher, but because he's been with us, because he's so familiar with what we do, and he immediately arrived understanding the way we play, because he's played with half our guys several years ago, won a championship, won 73 games as a starting center. So he's been one of us for many years. So getting him back was really fortifying for our roster, and obviously now with DeMarcus's injury, it's becomes a huge addition.
So you say he picked up right where you left?
Oh yeah, and Andrew's a brilliant basketball mind. He's one of those guys. When you call a play or you teach him a play, he gets it right away. He understands where all 5 players should be, and he understands why you're running the play, what you're trying to do, what the options are. He's just got beautiful feel for the game.
Steve, Pat coined the phrase, no rebounds, no rings. How imperative is it to control the boards on these guys tonight?
Rebounds are always a big deal. You know, we talk about the possession game all the time. And for us, that means limiting our turnovers and boxing out. And we didn't do a very good job of either one of them last game. Missed some box outs, some key box outs, and turned it over 21 times, 22 in game one. So we've got to do a better job. We've got to settle down offensively.
What makes the Lou and Trez pick and roll so difficult to stop, even when you can scheme against it in the context of a series?
Well, I mean, they're very dynamic players. You know, Harrell is just so strong and powerful inside. And then Lou's one of those guys who's just really hard to contain. He has been for years. You know, he's got a knack for scoring and finding seams, and you have to try to show him different looks, put different people on him, crowd him as much as you can. But he's a great player, and Montrezl is becoming one, and they're a really dynamic combination.
Steve, you mentioned Andrew and just how he put it right back in where he left off, but you guys play differently than you did back when he was here. A different personality. How has your team played differently since he was here, and what did he have to pick up?
I think the biggest difference is that Kevin's here, obviously. His first go round with us, or you know, when I was coach, he was here before I was, but we put him as the hub of our offense at the top of the key. Ran a lot of dribble handoffs with him, and he kind of became a high post passer. And he's still doing that, but we play differently because of Kevin's presence, and we still run the same sets. It just seems to look a little different and feel a little different at times, but he adapted pretty quickly.
Hey, Coach. To most the Collin fan right here. To the Collin fan, you guys' championship run is inevitable, but basketball isn't played inside simulation. It's played with human beings. They're gonna fail, and they're gonna make mistakes. So how does it feel to be inevitable? How does it feel to have that perception from the outside?
You know, I grew up right here in Los Angeles, and when I was 10 years old, I watched UCLA beat Kentucky for the national championship. It was their 10th national title in 12 years. And at 10 years old, and as a UCLA fan, I thought, it's going to just happen forever. It's going to go on forever. And Wooden retired after the game, and I think they've won one national title since. Bob Myers led the way in '95. But sports are just, I mean, the reason I think people are so attracted to sports is that none of us know what's going to happen. You do your best to build a good team and a solid team, and you hope to get some luck along the way. And I think we've done that, and we've experienced the luck and the bad luck, and it's all part of it. So you don't worry about expectations. Just go out there and play and do your best and see if you can sustain it for a long time. But everything comes to an end, and we're just trying to keep this going as long as we can.
Steve, in terms of, I'm sure in the moment of losing that lead the other night, you're trying to process 1,000 things. With hindsight now, is there one thing you wish you could have zoned in on just from a coaching standpoint to emphasize?
I did a lot of things wrong the other night. I had players can play well and play poorly, and coaches can coach poorly or coach well. And so I went home that night not feeling great about my own personal performance. I think when we got into foul trouble in the third quarter, changed our rotations around, and watching the tape, and even while the game was happening, I did not like what I ended up doing with my substitution pattern. So that's probably what I look at the most, but just as if you're a player, you just learn from it and move on and keep going. Thanks, everybody. Cool.
Thank you.